Today is gonna be more of a Mgtow video for a lot of young men I've met over the internet, and I'm gonna try to clear up some of the confusion they have about the young women today, or women up to about age 40. Okay. First thing I want to say is that there's some beautiful women in the world. Most of them born in the 60s, 50s even, and before. I want to say one of my best friends is a woman named Gail, another woman named Kelly, all kind of good women. But with that said, I understand what they're saying about the young women today. Here's the problem. I'm a big fan of. Hey, what's happening? I'm a big fan of a philosopher named G.I. Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff. That means George, so we don't know what his name really is. But if you're gonna say I follow anybody's philosophy, which I really only follow people in increments, I say I follow his philosophy more than anybody else's. Not all the way and not totally, because the guy was born in the 19th century. But, you know, he's, from that been born in, he gets a whole lot of shit correct. More than anybody, any other philosopher I've read so far. But now I don't follow him all the way. I have my own mind, too, of things that I've seen. And like even Gurdjieff said, make sure you're operating on your own stuff that comes from you, more than stuff that comes from other people and influences that you may pick up from here and there. Influences that you don't even remember picking up. So a lot of things that you got from outside of yourself, because I'm gonna tell you something. You interacting with it, meaning nature, is about the best thing, the best book you can read on religion or philosophy. All right, now let's get to it. When you open up the car and look at the battery, it has a positive and a negative pole. Well, that's everything in life, and that's what the male and female are. Now, the male is normally the positive, and the female is normally the negative. And it don't mean like negative, and well, it kind of means it, but you know. But those poles can change and varies with the situation. All right, now Gurdjieff didn't use the words positive and negative because those are old, played out terms that people have been using throughout the centuries. And they may have attracted meanings that they don't really mean. They may have, since the world, since what meanings really mean, it gets corrupted as time goes on. So he used his own words that he thought would better explain the situation. He called the male principle the insertive principle. The assertive principle. And the female principle he called the denying principle. And that's because females like have a baby once a year and stuff like that. Unless, she can have twins, quadruplets and shit like that. But normally, 99.9% of the time, she's gonna have one baby a year. So that means a long time, 9 months out of a year, she needs to be taken care of. Okay? So therefore, nature has rigged the female mind to always look for a higher male, a higher status male than herself, all the time. So if this female's living in the street in the fucking alley, she's gonna look for a guy with a Social Security check. who can afford for her to get some kind of room, and they huddle up in some kind of room or something like that. Or even she might look for another homeless guy, but he gets a Social Security check, so he can provide, give her more, whatever. She gonna look for a guy that maybe has a Social Security check and has managed to get one little credit card or something that he has $300 on or something, or $200 on, something like that. Well, you get my drift. You get my drift. A junkie chick, she might look for a junkie guy, but he sells the junk that they use, so he's always gonna have junk. Moving right along, you put this same female, she's on welfare or something like that. She gonna look for a guy that's got a basic job, so a security job, a minimum wage job, a job that pays little more than minimum wage. It's gonna be okay with her. You take that same broad, you put it in college and make her get a degree, like the Republicans did in the 90s. They made Clinton destroy welfare. Well, almost totally destroy it. So the women got all kind of money and stuff to go out and go to school, because they really wanted to punish black women. They didn't want black people to be having babies. Now, if it was all white women that said, okay, we're going to quit our jobs and have babies, they would have got all kind of welfare benefits. All right, now how does that concern you? Coming back to you, my young men who I met on Facebook. Since the 90s, and all these women started getting all these degrees, and a lot of them was bullshit degrees, underwater basket weaving degrees. But the society had to cooperate and create all these fake ass jobs for these females coming out of college. Because unbeknownst to us all, the colleges are just a part of the government, and the big businesses and all this, they get money from the government. They have to play ball. They have to coincide themselves with what the government and their colleges are doing. They have to, if they want to be able to borrow money and get money from the government and this and that. Which is the business's bread and butter, because a lot of times they can't advance themselves to be competitive without government loans. Most of the time. I don't care who the fuck the company is. It could be GM. It could be Chrysler. It could be you name it. I think the only ones now that pretty much can fund themselves is social media, maybe. Okay. But most of them was started by the government. Okay, now let's get right to it. Women have, like I said, this principle in them to always look for a male that's above them in social status, rank, and profitability, able to make more money than they can make, because of this fact that in nature women would have babies and take 9 months. That's most of the year. They would need a strong male to take care of them for them 9 months. The best hunter in times past, the best hunter today, which means the guy with the most status, economic status, social status. Blase, blase. So, people over there arguing. So, nowadays, since women have, they've got in school, they've got these educations, they don't have to depend on men anymore, because they really used to fashion themselves to be more likable to men, which means they have more womanly wiles, more sexuality, more femininity than they do today, because that's what men normally desire. But now they feel how women think because they're attracted to a man with certain attributes. They feel that they should have those attributes because they're too dunderheaded to know that just because they're attracted to a man like this does not mean a man is attracted to them with all this shit. Because they've been taught by these dumbass feminist bitches teaching them that we're all the same, we all like the same things, you know, even though they are biologically rigged to have a child, we're not, but we all the fucking same. Go figure. So, these women think that they are so great, they think that they are so advanced, so evolved, because some motherfucking white professor taught them a few things that's easily attainable on one's own. They still are in the mode of women where they think that they have to be taught something by a man to be somebody. So they believe, wrongly so, that just going to a college makes you so educated that you know every fucking thing except a trade. All it is teaching you a fucking trade. That you are so advanced and you are so rarefied in the air that some man has to be some goddamn king or some goddamn tyrant or some goddamn multi-billionaire to deserve you. Only thing you got, now when you break it all down, the only thing that you really have that makes a man firstly attracted to you, I say it firstly, is what the fuck you sitting on. And every bitch got that. Every bitch is born with that. Yours ain't no better than another one unless you read books and learn how to tighten it. And then you're not having babies, you're killing your babies because you want to go on through school and college and you want to compete with men now in these jobs. So the way to do that is not to have a baby, but yet, since nature rigged you to have a baby, it makes you horny at times and you want to get that taken care of, but yet the very thing that makes you want to do that, you want to abort it. Now, a lot of you are reckless. You don't take, you know, these women are reckless. They don't make the man wear rubber. They don't take birth control. And, you know, on the spur of the moment, you may not have, a woman may have used the last birth control pill. A man may not have a rubber. And sometimes the shit is so strong that they get together anyway. And they use some kind of shit like the rhythm method. He pulls out or something. Like they think, you know, they're hoping, knowing that that shit probably ain't gonna work or may not work. I've used it a lot. It worked. Sometimes it didn't. When I was younger. But instead of, since they want to do all this, go to school, get education shit, instead of standing on that and resisting those urges, they go ahead and do it anyway because they know if they get pregnant or they go get a fucking abortion. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is, these women, a lot of them are average looking women. Some of them maybe 6 or 7, maybe. And since women have this thing in them, hypergamy, men have it too because they want the finest woman with the biggest titties and biggest ass, the slimmest waist, the prettiest face. So it's hypergamy thing, but it's really strong in women in an unnatural way, meaning the guy gotta have all these accomplishments and shit. So anyway, most men are not gonna have all those accomplishments. The women had heat put to their heels because they had children and they were losing welfare, so they had to go back to school and they got all this money from the government to go back. And so they advanced and they found that as long as they stay in school and get all these meaningless degrees, they didn't have to work. They didn't have to have welfare. They had government monies that they were gonna have to pay back. But in the 80s, they tricked you. Because when they first came out with all this welfare shit, you didn't have to get all these student loans. You just got grants. and it was all, you know. But then they tricked your ass and came in, and now since they got your ass there, the first trick they did was they took all them grants away and made you get a student loan. Because they had you doing something you had to do, because government put these guidelines in where you could only be on welfare for so many years. You had babies, so government policy forced you in this condition. This how shit. This how a con plays on a mark. The government's the biggest con in the country, in the world. Governments, all world governments. They made you go. They made a law to forcibly make you go. They didn't tell you had to go on point of a weapon, but they did make you go by point of another weapon, an economic weapon. They made you go. Then they made it so easy for you. You got these grants. Then, some years went by, they had your ass. And so somebody came in, a third force, and talked the government or whatever, and they got into cahoots together. And then they knew, they said, oh, well, they trapped. We got them, we legislated them in these schools. They couldn't pay for them, so we gave them grants. So now we're going to make you sign up for student loan, a loan, which is debt. Now they got your ass. And now the whole culture for women have shifted from, I got to do this, take care of my babies, to, I want a fucking career. So now you all run into these colleges teaching you a bunch of bullshit. And very few of you, a lot of you taking math and science. Math ain't shit without science. Because there's a whole lot of math teachers unemployed. So they're making you take all this STEM shit and science shit. There's a lot of you get employed. A few women, like 8% or less, are really getting great employment where they can pay off these student loans and go on with a great career. But most people don't have those kind of brains, men or women. So y'all stuck with these nothing-ass degrees that the business world has made a space for you to come out of college and have these jobs like social work and all that shit, when you really don't need college to be no goddamn social worker, if you ask me. And now they make you go to school, law enforcement, if you want to work in like they hire you if you want to work in a correctional facility. I worked in prisons for years and dropped out in the fucking 8th grade, basically. Okay, I went back to college and I got A's and B's, but I left because I got a job. I was recruited right out of college. I didn't have to finish. I worked at prisons, jails, county jails, did security, all kind of shit, high-level security, made money. And I'm looking at this shit, I say, what the hell you need a fucking degree for this shit for? They got schools that are not colleges. They got places to just train you to be a better correction officer. A lot of times, the prison you work for, they see something in you, they'll send you. And to me, that's better than college. So now you got these big degrees, you're making all this money. You're a female, suffering from hypergamy. You naturally want a male that's higher than you. But you forgot that, because a lot of you young women, you don't know your history. You don't know that your mothers had fire put under their heels. So that's why they ran to these colleges. But other than that, they wouldn't have went. And now you come along and send your mama with this degree and shit. So you think that's the way life's supposed to be. So you go get a degree. And now you got all these advanced degrees, but the men didn't because they didn't have the fire put under their feet like that. They can still go out and get, jobs that they, just a job be satisfied with, go home and shit. You don't want them. You want some motherfucker with a degree because you think he the grand fucking mufti But I'm gonna tell you something. These colleges put you in a box because they teach you in a way that you can't see outside the box. Well, a person who read all the shit that these colleges put out, but in the first place, a college only became a college because they were aristocrats and they had the money at that time. The only people that had the money, because the peasants didn't, to accumulate all this knowledge and put it in a library. So then they invited all their aristocratic friends to go in and learn this shit from the libraries. And now you could pay like $100 a month or less and have access to all these colleges' libraries. And that's actually where the knowledge lies.
I will, just open the door. Let me get my shit.
So, you can buy the books by certain professors, read along with these books. You can even get the lesson details, lesson plans. Really what college is organizing knowledge so where you can learn it easier. So then you go into these libraries, you can pay for it, and you got all the abstracts, all the papers, all everything written by people who don't even teach. They may come and lecture every now and then, but they're basically researchers. And those are the people you learn from. So now you can read all these books for yourself, read all these different researches for yourself, read all these different professors that supposedly putting this knowledge into a form that can be understood, and taking the knowledge and put it together to come up with the solutions and shit. So now you can do it for yourself. You can go in there and you can use your own mind, which is always better when you can read all these different professors' opinions and all these different researchers' papers, and you can use your own mind, your own logic to come up with better solutions than these people are having. Because all they do is send you to reference some fucking professor, some fucking guy from the 1400s, some fucking guy. Not saying their knowledge isn't usable and tenable, it is, but as we advance as society gets older, we see things that they didn't see because we've had a longer time to evaluate the knowledge, and technology is really the thing, the linchpin that's holding all this shit together. And then technology comes and you see things in a different way and blase. But these motherfuckers still following the references and peer reviews of fucking people. Sometimes the peer review ain't shit, because sometimes it's only one or two guys that know this shit, and they're not in the peer review. Like the Christian shit, which the history and all that shit, which I really follow. There are certain scientists I follow, or there are certain historians that I follow. And I don't follow them all the way because they go so far, but they still held back by academic education. Richard Carrier, Bob Price, who's the best as far as being open-minded to shit and as far as not being held back. Especially I follow as far as the Paul shit, Dr. Robert, what the fuck? I forget my man's name. I had a conversation with him. Eisenman, Professor Eisenman. He showed us right in the goddamn Bible where Paul's a fucking Herodian. And that the religion of Jesus was not the religion of Paul, because he said in Acts, even though Acts is mostly fictitious, but there's some shit in there that you can get out of there. He said in Acts, they didn't call us Christians until Antioch. So that wasn't the religion of James and Peter and all these guys. They were probably more like Essenes, or a group like the Essenes, just like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Islamic Brotherhood and all this. They're pretty much the same group with different names. Well, that's what Jesus in them was, because the book of Jude mentions, in the book of Jude, he's mentioning the book of Enoch, and that's a big book for the Essenes. So, and all those rituals that Paul gave you, you call it the sacrament, It's just the Essene daily meal. So, at Damascus, Dr. Eisenman has translated as cup of blood. Damascus, cup of blood. And that's the sacrament. You drink of my blood. You drink this wine. So, but I still have my own mind. And I see all these guys, even though they're great guys, they're great thinkers, they just think way beyond the box of academia. Most of them can't get it. Eisenman can, because of his credentials, because of what he's done. He in a sense, forced them to make the Dead Sea Scrolls public to the community. But I ain't gonna go into that. But what I'm telling you is that these chicks got these educations. They think that's it. They think they mom's apple pie. They think that they are the creme de la creme, and they're not. Okay, but they're running around thinking that. They don't have a degree in science, a doctor, or something like that. They ain't shit. Okay, well, historians, now these female historians are bad as fuck. But if they ain't got something like that, they ain't shit. Okay, all this underwater basket weaving, communications, and all that shit. Please, spare me. Human resources. But look, anyway, now these bras, not anything, the cream of the crop. They may have a little bit of body on them. So a top-notch dude, a banger, okay? Fuck around with them, because I used to toss bras like that. And I didn't have all that education. I just had charisma. And a huge you know what, all right? So, anyway, back then. So anyway, now these bras, they're the cream of the crop. They may be a 7 or 8. These guys, they want the top tier guys. They all want with the high educations, with the great jobs, with the handsome faces, the nice bodies. They just something that they effing. There's something to do. Yeah, they may make something happen to the guys, make them aroused. But then the guys are tossing girls like this all over the place because they all want it. He's not gonna marry them. But they think he is, or they think they can get a guy like that because they've been having relationships with guys like this, who had no intent on a relationship going no further than a couple of weeks or a couple of months that they did go. So now they out here judging on that standard and judging wrong and thinking because they got some kind of education or something that it makes a man want them. But a man is different than you, baby. You are in the mind, and a man can whisper sweet nothings to you and make you aroused. A man is aroused with what he sees. Later on now, once he meets the woman, if there's things to her, yeah, he's aroused by a feminine woman. That comes before all that goddamn stupid ass education you got. Okay, you don't know that. So, gentlemen, all these women are under illusion that they're all this and all that. So they're not attracted to the average guy. They're attracted to 20% of men. I say 2%. And in the end, they're going to get fucked and left out, and they're going to grow older, and they're not going to have no men. It's not going to be no men left for them. Because the men who they turned down are going to get older, and when men get older and more established, they appeal more to younger women. And contrary to rumor, to what they say, you can find a young woman that you can talk to, that understands, that's there for you to build, and is waiting for you, wanting you to build her, acting like the denying principle, but she's the submissive part of the denying principle. Because she sees, first of all, you older than her, naturally she's going to see you sitting up on the hill. Right? Women say, I don't want an older man, but when they meet an older man that's got some criteria, some money, a little money, still got some looks left, little, maybe not that much, and that has lived and has some wisdom, they gonna run to that man, and you old biddies gonna be left out, cause all the cats you passed up. Well, you had the chance. So he who laughs last. And men, you gonna be laughing last. Because women are saying, oh, we got money in position now, we can reach back and get the younger women. For a little while, he gonna be with you. He gonna get what he got, what he need from you, and he gonna leave. Because a man is the assertive principle. Look at Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore. She left her man, the older man, Bruce Willis, got with this young, handsome boy. He was there for a while. Everything was all happy. The daughters was giddy. She was giddy. And as soon as he met this chick, a chick that played that 70s show with him, the fine chick from Greece parents, he left her, threw her away like a rotten potato. And that's what's gonna happen, because I've done that to older women. When I was younger, I got with them because I was in awe of them. But after a few years, I started looking at this old ass bitch laying next to me and shit, smelling like feet. What the fuck am I doing with this bitch? Once I became a man, it was no holding me down. I didn't want to be with him. And after a while, I started treating them bad, and I just left. I got what I needed out of them. Because a young boy with hormones raging, an older woman that's still nice looking, yeah, she can easily get him. Or can she keep him? Once he gets to the age where he's not all that in all women like he was 5-10 years ago, he becomes a man. He sees you. Because men don't see with fantasy in their brain. They see with their eyes. We see what's real. And we look at you and look at your daughter. Who you think we're gonna go to? Who you think that young man's gonna go to? A woman looking like your daughter or you? Okay, that's it, folks. I hope that I've helped somebody. I'm gonna start making more Mgtow videos, because like I said, every now and then I'll make a hoodoo video, because I really don't like teaching people that, because most people use it for wrong. And I'll reiterate this. They say there is no karma in hoodoo, but goddamn it, that's bullshit, because nature has no mind. Nature is instinct. Nature created you with trial and error from all kind of creatures till it got to you, so that you could be its mind. And you're the one that wills this shit, not it. You're the one, even though your wielding power is so small, because you're so small, but you're the one that wills this shit. And you're the one that makes decisions. You're the one who decides. And there is a go around thing in nature, because the earth is round. And what you put out, it comes and it goes. You notice the Republicans used to be all, I hate Russia, and all how they were. And the Democrats was kind of, but the Republicans was like, you know, I hate Russia. Democrats was like, well, give Russia a chance. At least they got communism. Now all of a sudden, the Democrats hate Russia. And the Republicans see Russian society as a little bit better, because their women are not all fucked up like American women. So, all right, what goes around does come around in nature, but that's instinctive. You're the one that wields it with your fucking mind. And these people are not wielding hoodoo the way they're supposed to. So, that's it for now. I'm going to get back with you all. Peace.